When I first met Matt and we were training partners, he taught me a lot about nutrition, and I thought he was serious, and he said, no, wait till you meet Alec. And I was like, who the fuck is Alec? How old are you?
I am 22.
Where did that dedication to your nutrition come from? Like, how important is that to you?
For me, nutrition is basically everything. What's the point in working out and busting ass in the gym if you're not going to take nutrition seriously? You're basically just wasting your time. I don't believe that it's half diet and nutrition and half working out. It's 100% diet and nutrition and 100% working out. It's both.
I definitely picked that up from you. I remember when we started working together, I saw how many meals you were bringing, and I was like, fuck, now I got to bring in 3 more. Do you feel like there's a line between supplementation and nutrition?
Nothing can ever replace a whole food diet. People tend to lose sight of what supplements are. They're just exactly what they're called. They're meant to supplement a diet and fill in what you're not getting from food. You don't take food out of the equation and replace it with anything. And honestly, probably about 99% of supplements are just worthless. They're garbage.
Tell me a little about what goes through your head when you train.
Just go as heavy, as hard as I can. It's always about pushing myself as hard as I can. There will be plenty of days though where, I'm not in here to get bigger or follow a certain training regimen. It's therapy. This is where I find comfort and solace no matter what happens in my day. I can kind of just take it out in here and I can handle whatever life can throw at me.
What were you like before you got into bodybuilding?
Awkward, shy, and fat kid. I didn't really have a whole lot of friends. I wasn't very outgoing. The complete opposite of what I am now before I discovered the gym and the confidence that it gave me and the power and control it gave me over my own life.
How did you get into bodybuilding?
I actually wanted to join the military at a young age. I heard about the Navy SEALs because my dad was in the military, he's in the Navy, and he told me about the Navy SEALs and they jump out of helicopters, they do all this crazy stuff. I was like, oh, that's awesome, I want to do that. I started losing weight, I lost a bunch of weight for that. I joined the wrestling team in high school. In wrestling, discovered weightlifting. My body responded very well to a lot of the training that we did. I kind of just decided, I was like, all right, let's see where this goes, I left the wrestling team after 1 year and focused solely on weight training. The first 2-3 months of actually eating right and training intensely and getting plenty of rest, I think I gained about like 15 to 20 pounds of lean muscle mass. And I guess the rest is history.
Tell us a little about when and why you decided to start enhancing.
I started competing. It's really a preventative measure in terms of injury. It's meant to help recover and all that. You look at Olympic athletes or elite level athletes, their physical performance and activity goes up and their caloric intake goes up with it. Well, if you look at a bodybuilder, when we start prepping for a show, the level of physical performance and output goes up, but the calories go down. And when you have this gap, a myriad of things can go wrong. It can have injuries, and the gear is basically just to help minimize that risk.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you only take one thing at a time, right?
It's usually one thing or maybe 1 or 2 things because they coincide, they work together. It's all about being responsible with it.
I should probably put this out there. I really didn't like you when I first met you. We didn't get along at all. I remember I used to go to Matt all the time like, yo man, do I have to work with this guy? Can I work like the midnight shift or something? He's like, we close at 9. And now obviously we're the best of friends. One thing I really picked up from you is anytime you asked me, hey, were you working out? And I told you I was taking a day off, you would give me so much shit for it. And I was like, you know what, man? I'm tired of this guy talking shit. I'm not gonna take days off anymore. How do you justify taking a day off? Because we all know that rest is so important for growth in bodybuilding.
It really boils down to listening to your body and what your body responds to best. If I'm getting 8 hours of sleep a day, I'm eating 6-7 meals a day, getting plenty of protein in, I'm not hurting myself, everything feels right, I'm gonna keep training as hard as I can, as long as I can. One of my favorite bodybuilders said, if it makes you feel like shit, don't do it. It's a philosophy and it just falls into place with everything, including days off.
So you don't drink or smoke?
No, and I don't, it's not about judgment or anything, nothing wrong with it. It's just my preference, not my cup of tea.
So you were just sick this week. Why didn't you cancel?
Yeah, it was Tuesday morning. I got a really bad stomach virus. Basically, everything on the inside of my body wanted to be on the outside. And I couldn't hold down food, water, anything. After a whole day of that, my body was just completely sapped of fluids and starved. And I looked in the mirror, and I was a little bit leaner than I usually was because of that. I thought, all right, let's use this to my advantage. Instead of canceling or using that as an excuse to pig out on junk food, I upped my carbs a little bit, but still clean, still did my cardio. Then literally the next day, that I was able to train, and I was still kind of a little uneasy. I was right back in the gym doing legs, I did cardio, I was right back at it. You know, it just goes with another philosophy of mine, is that you can choose to either be the victor or the victim in any situation. You can whine about it, you can complain, you can choose to let it decide what you're gonna do, or you can grab the bull by the horns and say, you know what, this is what's gonna happen, we're gonna make the most of this. That's just what I decided to do. So I feel like it was a blessing in disguise.
What's your mindset like for stepping on stage?
I always had this philosophy or this view that the day of the show, I don't consider it a competition per se. I consider it more so like almost like a graduation. You know, the prep, that's not the competition. The competition was the past 15 or 20 weeks or however long I prepped. You know, that was a competition. And so the day of the show when I step on, that's basically just me stepping on stage and showing the world what I've done. And it's a day of celebration. This is my time. I made it, and afterwards I can eat whatever I want. So that's one of the big things that keeps me going, is I can eat whatever I want afterwards.
What advice do you have to offer someone that's doing their first bodybuilding show?
Be safe, be smart. To be honest, there's a lot of things you can do and control, but I mean, really, since if it's your first show, you have no idea what to expect, how your body's gonna react. So be patient, don't be too upset if things don't work out. If you don't look the way you want on stage, just give it your best shot and enjoy the ride. Remind yourself why you did it in the first place.
You just competed at the Branch Warren Classic a couple months ago. I know during the prep you suffered a loss. I mean, how did that affect you, and how did you get through that?
It was a good friend of mine passed away when I was about 3 weeks out. You know, you're already at that point during a prep where you're very unstable, emotionally, mentally, physically. You're just kind of down to the bone, I guess you could say. You're just very worn out. And I knew this person very well. I was very close to this person. I consider them a relative. And I know that if I had stopped, that's not what that person would have wanted. They would have wanted me to carry on, and they would have wanted to see me on that stage. So I just kind of kept that in the back of my mind and kept pushing through. And I'm really glad that I didn't drop out.
What is your end game?
I mean, bodybuilding or doing competitions, I love it. It's a great experience, and I encourage everyone to try it. But at the end of the day, bodybuilding is, for me, it's a lifestyle, and it's a very few days that I'm not enthusiastic about going to the gym. That's always a highlight of my day. I always think about that as soon as I wake up, as soon as I go to bed, like, you know, what am I working out tomorrow? What am I gonna do? I've always had this view or philosophy that you can follow your heart, work hard, put your faith in God, and success will come. I feel like people focus too much on chasing success as opposed to the other way around, letting success follow you. And for me, bodybuilding is everything for me. So I know if I chase bodybuilding, you know, success is gonna follow if I just work hard.
Bodybuilding and training is a way of life. With it, I make no compromises. It's all or nothing. For me, it's do or die.